All right. I'm so excited. Yay. This is my first time ever streaming across multiple platforms. So bear with me as I actually try this out for the first time. Once you're live and your stream is public, you'll find it at the top of your feed. We're having trouble streaming to Instagram. Okay. Let's try go live. We're going to fix this real quick and we'll go live at the same time. I love it. We're going live. We are live. Let's see, where else am I needing this link? Let me just, there we go. Fix this really quick. Thank you for being patient with me. While I do this, please let me know, where are you calling? Where are you joining from? Where are you joining from so I know who's in the room? So I'm going to fix this Instagram issue really quick. Stream key, that's different. We're done one of these. It can be a couple of different components all at the same time. So thank you for being. There we go. All right. I feel good about that. And I think I can hear myself on YouTube, which is exciting. But there we go. I'll mute myself there. And then if folks just let me know where you're joining from, I'll give folks a couple of seconds to join before we get started. But I think I actually did this. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I think I got this right. I think it's streaming. I can see it on YouTube. This is great. I'm very happy. We're going. Okay. All right. Hi. I'm so proud to be here. Thank you so much for joining on this Tuesday evening. I'm Melissa James, the founder of the Real Career Revolution, and I'm very excited to share with you a topic that is like near and dear to my heart because honestly, I be talking about it every single day when I have to chat with clients, friends, family members. People overwhelmingly tell me that they have been feeling stuck with AI. Maybe they are nervous about the potential that AI has, nervous that it's going to take their job, nervous that, oh my goodness, if I help the company build this AI technology, is the company going to eventually eliminate my role? And all of the above. So I think folks are feeling stuck. I think they're feeling afraid of what could happen with AI. And I think they're feeling like, is this the moment that I really have to take on yet another tool? Because honestly, I don't know about you, I'm a millennial. I was actually like thinking about this the other day. How many different tools are we already using? And then we want to add on to that using yet another, maybe one ChatGPT, maybe two Claude, maybe three Manus and other AI tools that are starting to surface at the same time. I don't know about you, but it can feel like tool overload, okay? Overload. I went back and I checked. I really did, because I was just like, one day I was just like, oh my God, I cannot remember my passwords. I don't know if anybody else can relate to that. If you can, drop in the comments passwords, because I know that like I have so many different passwords that I literally can't keep track of them anymore. It doesn't matter how many times I like write them down, or I try to remember them, or I come up with different naming ways to go about it. And it's just like, this is just so overwhelming to have so many different passwords. I actually went through and checked like Google passwords to see how many different passwords do I have. Tell me why. The answer was 56 different passwords. Tell me why. And I'm like, who has time to have 56 different passwords? Like, I can barely remember my name at the end of the day. And you're telling me that I'm going to have 56 different passwords. Now I have to have more. Like, I can't. And I think that's actually where people get stuck. It's just the overwhelm from increasing the mental load even more. Just the mere thought of having to learn something new feels overwhelming. And that's where I feel like so many of us are really struggling. We're feeling stuck because we've got new tools coming to the market. We're fearful of what's going to happen as AI continues to penetrate the market. And then we just don't know what's going to happen afterwards. There's a ton of uncertainty on what can actually happen when AI is at full force. And if you've gone to any family event in the last like 6 months, I mean, it's everything from the robots are going to take over. It's not going to be long before the robots are doing everything for us. And I just don't know, how can we move forward in a way that we are recognizing the moment that we're in, that yes, there's lots of different ways that AI can be implemented. And I think that we're at two extremes. One extreme is that like AI is going to take over and take my job. And then the next extreme is that we're going to have robots coming in and the robots are going to attack us. Those are the different levels that we are kind of playing in. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge that that mental load can just be a lot for anyone to process at this time when we have like real world challenges that are happening in this world. So I feel like folks are feeling stuck, and I just wanted to create a space where if you're feeling stuck, that you could just say it out loud and not have to pretend that like you're learning new tools and that you're trying out different things, when like quite frankly you're like, where do I even start? There's just so many different tools. There's just so many different use cases. And I think that people get really excited about the potential that AI might have, but without having like a tactical way to use it, it can kind of just feel like, well, I could use this, but do I really have to? Because I'm kind of doing my work just fine. I could stick with the methods that I have now and not have to do anything else for as long as like my employer can't see it, as long as I don't have to use it, as long as they're not watching me and whether or not I am using it. And I think sometimes those thoughts start to surface for us as we go through this transition. And I just wanted to create a space where if you're feeling stuck, comment stuck in the comments so that I can know that you're feeling stuck and what's going on with you. And I'm just curious to understand, like, where are you getting stuck? Is it just at the thought of overwhelm? If it's at the thought of overwhelm, just comment 1 in the chat so that I can know exactly where you're feeling stuck. It's at the thought of overwhelm. If it's at the thought, just comment 1, no judgment, because I'm here to meet you where you're at. That's why it's called Feeling Stuck with AI, because we are feeling stuck with AI and just the overwhelm that comes with it when you have to think about just yet another tool that we have to use, yet another user interface that we have to interact with, and yet another way that we have to learn how to adapt to a new tool. Just comment 1 if you're feeling overwhelmed. Comment 2 if you're using the tool, you kind of see how it can be helpful. Maybe you started off on ChatGPT. That's how I started. I started with ChatGPT and I thought, well, it's a lot of information coming back to me. I've got to read it quickly. I put in information, and I got to be honest, I wasn't writing good prompts. I was just saying, hey, help me write this email. Here's what they said. Here's what I need to write back. Comment 2 if you're using ChatGPT and you're kind of just using it to write better emails, using it to be the anger translator. Like, I just want this email to sound professional because it's important, but like, I also know that I've had this conversation with this person beforehand and they should already know what my answer is, but please, ChatGPT, help me to get this email to sound professional, bring up all the points, and just say it for me so that I can copy and paste it, because I don't want to have to think about what I need to write when it comes to this email. Comment 2 if you're just using ChatGPT and using it as a way to just make your life easier, where you're not having to think so much. If you are a power user and you said, I use ChatGPT until about a month ago, and that's when all of a sudden I switched over to Claude, and now I'm using Claude, and Claude is helping me get my work done more. I have to be honest with y'all. When I started with ChatGPT, I thought ChatGPT was the newest thing since sliced bread, okay? I love ChatGPT. And then when I heard about Claude, I was like, oh gosh, I don't know if I'm gonna like Claude. Is this another thing that I have to go learn, try to see how it operates, think about it? It's like mental gymnastics. That's exactly how it feels, like mental gymnastics. And I'm just wondering, oh my gosh, what is it going to be like? I'm not going to lie. It wasn't until a friend of mine, he and I were talking. He goes, Melissa, oh my gosh, I use Claude. It honestly has changed my workflow. It's like I can get so much more done with Claude, and it does all my presentations. It thinks for me. And all I have to do is put it in Claude and it comes out ready to go, client ready, and I'm done. And I said, like, are you sure? That sounds a little too good to be true. And he was like, absolutely. That's exactly how you should use it. You should really switch over. And given this like rave review, I was like, okay, I guess I need to update my little process here. I've been opening up ChatGPT. Let me actually just make the jump. And I actually had to be conscious of this to actually try out using Claude as my primary source. And at first I was kind of using Claude like still with my emails, still saying like, hey, help me draft a better email. And then over time I was just like, well, Claude, what else could you do besides emails? Can you actually help me do my work better? Like, I have an upcoming webinar that I did. If you didn't get a chance to join, that was on your expertise is worth millions. I did that on March 24th. Incredible. So good. And really, I was like, I got to make a PowerPoint. I also want to make a workbook for those that attend because I want them to easily be able to follow along. And I just gave it to Claude and said, like, this is who I am. This is my target audience, and I need to create a workbook. And I took like several prompts. I'm not even gonna lie. Several prompts to actually get to the point where I could get my PowerPoint deck. I could get my workbook done. But all in all, the design was kind of nice. Like, I liked the look and feel of it. I even used it to make my graphics for the webinar. I even used it to write my emails. And I was like, okay, Claude, I get it. You've got some design skills that I wasn't anticipating. So if you're at the point where you're using Claude to the point where you're able to get not only the skills out of it, but get actual like presentations, designs out of it, I love that. And I want to know that you're actually using Claude. So comment 3 if you're using Claude right now and it's actually helping you to get more work done. Because if it's helping you to get more work done, like that's the whole point. Honestly, I think like that's exactly what it was supposed to do. I know, I know. Some people are kind of feeling like, oh my goodness, is AI coming for our jobs right now? I'm a little bit different when it comes to AI. I have a different thought process. And that thought process is that is AI meeting humanity at the moment that we're burnt out? Because I know there are some professionals out there that are exhausted, that are tired. I was one of them. I took a 3-year wellness break because I was exhausted from working and I just needed rest. And when I went through that experience, I was so tired, I couldn't think straight. I went through every single emotion of feeling stressed, depressed, anxious, because at that time, my work was so meaningful that my work was a reflection of my identity. It was who I've always known myself to be. And when it came down to figuring out what am I going to do when my body's exhausted, but my mind keeps going. And literally, my body was so burnt out that I fell asleep for like 4 months. I kid you not. Like I was so exhausted that I could not get out of bed for 4 months. I literally just slept. And sleep has helped me so much to restore back to being my normal self because I was so burnt out. I believe that AI is meeting humanity at the moment where you're burnt out. We have mental overload, all those passwords, 56 different passwords in our head, all the different tools that we're using, and being able to leverage AI. There's some good in it. There's some good in being able to take off that mental load, put it into the new tool, and see how can it help us. So for me, I feel stuck when I don't know exactly the right use case on how it could be helpful. But what I've learned is that you have to try, you have to experiment, and then see what makes sense. And the more that you can apply using AI to help you in your business, help you make more money, apply it to trying out things that help solve problems in your everyday life. Like, for example, I know this sounds like so crazy and you guys are going to laugh at me, but whatever, I don't care. The other day I was like, oh, like I have these, I was changing my bedding. I was like, let me just change my bedding really quickly. And I was looking at my pillow when I took off the pillowcase, and I was like, it's lived. It's seen better days. And then I said, well, I actually don't know. Like, how long are you supposed to keep your pillows for? Like, did anybody else know that? Because I actually did not know the answer. If you know the answer, you can comment and you can tell me. But I literally had no idea how long you were supposed to keep your pillows for. So I had to ask ChatGPT. I was like, hey, Chat, how long am I supposed to keep my pillows for? And don't you know, Chat was like, hey, you only need to keep those pillows for like 3 to 6 months. After that, you need to either wash them or toss them out. And I was like, what? No way. No way. I thought pillows could last way longer than that. Luckily, I had like just gotten refreshed on new pillows anyway, so those pillows went in the trash. And I tossed them out and let them go, but I would not have known that if I wasn't interacting and experimenting with AI to figure out, some of these everyday problems. And I believe that it's important for us to experiment and try out those everyday problems. So, what can AI do for us? It can help reduce our mental load. It can help us to create PowerPoints, write emails, create graphics, and all of those things are valuable when we are trying to start a new business, when we are trying to build a brand on social media, when we are trying to create an event that we want people to go to. All of those things can be helpful. But what keeps us stuck is our fear. Our fear of what can happen if AI gets too good. Our fear of what can happen if AI takes over our jobs. Our fear of trying out something new. All of those things can hold us back and make us feel stuck because we're telling ourselves that if we do this, we're saying we're okay with fill in the blank, it taking our jobs. We're okay with it accelerating faster than what we had anticipated. And I just really want to take a moment to help people break down that, like, just because you use AI doesn't mean that you're saying you're okay with it. It just means that you're exploring and trying something different. As we continue to build with AI, of course, there will be unique challenges and opportunities that will surface. And it is our responsibility as humans to play a part to make sure it has the right guardrails, to make sure it has the right governance, make sure it has the right structure. All of those things are important. And I believe in that, which is why I wanted to create a space where people could talk about feeling stuck, because there are so many fears that people have about where AI could go, how it could impact their job, and how it's going to impact kids in the future. But we have to start talking about the things that make us feel stuck, the fears that it surfaces for us, the limiting beliefs that continue to happen, and how do we reframe to adapt to the moment that we're in. If we want to be able to move forward, we have to reframe our thinking and allow ourselves to explore and see what might happen. Honestly, I wasn't ready to switch from ChatGPT to Claude. But as I made the transition, because I heard from a friend that it was a really good tool, I was like, oh my gosh, it's actually not that bad. It just requires a little bit of adjustment and adaptation and an open mind. So I just wanted to come on here and share some personal stories that I had on what it was like for me when I was going through feeling stuck. I'm going to check the comments because this is my first time doing a cast across multiple platforms. I just want to check in and see if I've missed any questions or concerns that have popped up. I'm seeing that folks have joined in from all over. Oh my gosh, I see that. Of course, we have Boston in the house. Of course, I see some folks from Chicago. I see some folks joining from Canada. I see some folks joining from other areas. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being here. And if I haven't given my full introduction, let me do that now. I'm Melissa James, founder of the Real Career Revolution. And this is where we talk about the difference between what we have learned and the reality that we are experiencing. I started Real Career Revolution literally one day. I was scrolling on Instagram and I was saying, like, oh my gosh, I think I should start a page, but I don't know what I would talk about. And at that particular moment, I had gotten laid off from a job where I had gotten diagnosed with vitiligo that was stress induced, hence the white patches that you see on my face. And I was laid off from this job. I was so burnt out that I literally slept for 4 months. I was so exhausted that I literally could not think straight. I went through anxiety. I had extreme depression. I was anxious about who am I without this job? I've never in my life been laid off and having to go through this transition of like, who am I without this title, without this position? And now all of a sudden, my health was coming to the forefront of every decision that I was making. And for me, that was buying a tube of Opsilora, which is the cream that you can apply to your face to help with pigmentation. And each bottle was $2,800. And I had to decide between whether or not I want to keep going to this job, or do I just like let go and let God and see what happens, because the stress that I was experiencing, my vitiligo had pretty much gone all the way up the left side of my face. And I was the person that was on Zoom calls all the time selling to executives that were at Fortune 500 companies. My confidence had just completely crashed. And for me, that moment of feeling stuck and overwhelmed was huge, because I never could have imagined that something like that would happen to me. And I'm the kind of person that goes really hard. I'm the kind of person that gets really excited, who loves to learn. So when these things started to happen to me, I was like, am I a failure? Why did this happen to me? And it just tore my confidence down. And it really just took hold of me in a way that I had never experienced before. And I was just depressed. And I had to get on anxiety medication to help me figure out how can I manage my anxiety as I'm going through a transition that, quite frankly, my body is calling for, that I didn't even know I was going on. And it made me feel stuck. So I started my Instagram page just kind of talking just like I am now. And over time, it continued to grow, and more people were liking the content, engaging with it, wanted to talk about career and business. Those are my two favorite things to talk about. And that's how the Real Career Revolution came about. It was just talking about the reality that we're experiencing, much like the moment that we're experiencing right now. We are experiencing a disruption from AI. We're experiencing feeling stuck with AI, feeling overwhelmed by AI, feeling overwhelmed with the mental load that comes from using yet another tool, managing yet another password. And I just wanted to create space to talk about that, because feeling stuck can create more fear and limiting beliefs than what the moment is right now. The moment is right now is for us to try, to explore, to experiment, to see what could happen. And I think that I'm an optimist. I'm a Sagittarius for those that are into it. I'm a Sagittarius and I am optimistic. I love adventure. So maybe that's like a little bit of like the kind of energy that I'm channeling right now. But those components of really exploring and seeing where this can go can be a little overwhelming, a little nerve-wracking, but also super exciting as well. And I just wanted to share and create space to talk about feeling stuck, because it's okay to feel stuck. This is overwhelming. There is a lot of change that's going on. And I just wanted you to know that there's a space that we can go and talk about this and have real dialogue. So I'm hosting a webinar on April 28th, where I'm going to talk more about what are the stages of feeling stuck with AI? What are the thoughts that surface for us? And then how do we play to win when it comes to AI tools? And where do we think the market is going? I have a background with over 15 years of experience in workforce development in tech. I have watched the largest tech companies come to life and help them find experts to join their teams for the last 15 years. And there's so many parallels that come with that background and experience in the way that I see us adapting to AI right now. I see so many of the transferable skills that we have right now that we're going to need as we adapt to AI. And I just want to walk you through exactly how you can adapt. Go through and explain to you what is happening when you're feeling stuck. How do you identify those thoughts? How do you figure out your next best step? And then ultimately, how do you play to win? Because it is changing. The world is changing, and we have to adapt. So if you're new to me and this is the first time that we're connecting, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being here on a Tuesday night when you have so many other places that you could be. I appreciate you taking the time to chat, to listen, to kind of explore and have this space with one another. And if you are curious about like how can you play a part next Tuesday, join our full webinar where we're going to talk through all the different stages of what this is feeling like right now and how can you start to adapt to the moment that we're in and play to win. So if you're looking for the link to join the webinar is in my bio, link in bio. And if you're looking for the link and you just are watching from your phone or something, it's stan.store/realcareerrevolution. Let me update my banner so that you can see. Link in bio. There you go. So you can see it's stan.store/realcareerrevolution.com. Again, it's stan.store/realcareerrevolution.com. I know it's kind of a mouthful, but like I like the vibe. I want us to be real. I want us to be honest. I want us to talk about the career changes. And it is a revolution because it is us becoming our purest version of ourselves. When we are honest about what we're feeling and how we connect it to the vision that we have and the experiences that we've gone through. So please feel free to check out stan.store/realcareerrevolution.com, where you can learn more about how to create a AI powered career plan that allows you to move forward and adapt in real time. I believe that it is important for us to use market intelligence because the market is our greatest teacher. Let me say that again. The market is our greatest teacher, and it's going to show us exactly what are the challenges, what are the opportunities, and I'm going to teach you in my Retire Early, Live Free community how you can go through and align yourself to market demands so that you're not dependent on one employer or one job. Because AI is changing things, and I don't want you to feel stuck. So if you are curious about how would you approach the market, how can you adapt and get real-time data and information on what's happening in the market so that you can stay ahead, join the Retire Early, Live Free community. I retired at 35. Yes, let me say that again. I retired at 35 by using the strategies that I share within my community about how to adapt to tech. I was not a tech person when I got started. I was actually on my way to law school thinking that I'm going to go to law school and that's it. And then I graduated in the middle of the recession, kind of like the moment where we are right now, where there weren't any jobs, couldn't figure out what I wanted to do next. And all of a sudden, I got a job at a tech startup and it changed everything. That tech startup later got acquired. And then I later went on and worked at Google on their tech team. And it's because of those experiences that I was able to apply what I learned, think strategically about creating access and opportunity for people that are non-technical, that are curious about how can I play a part in this tech community when I don't know anything about tech, because I didn't know anything about tech. And how can we leverage that information so that I could strategically position myself for new opportunities? Tech changed my life. I believe it's going to change yours too. And with tech, I was able to not only get into my first property, I was able to get into my second property. And I just share those things with you so that you can see what's possible. Because with technology, we have an opportunity. Let me say that again. With technology, we have an opportunity. With AI, we have an opportunity to leverage the technology as a tool, because I believe technology is a tool that can help us. And we're going to leverage that tool to help us stay informed on the market, understand the challenges and opportunities that AI presents, strategically position yourself so that you're set up for success, and figuring out how can you stay independent of your job. What are the things that you need to be doing just in case there is a layoff and you're affected? There is opportunity in this. And if you're here watching this right now, it's because you know that there's an opportunity in it. You just can't see it yet. It's foggy. It's hard to see. It's like when your glasses get foggy. It's hard to see right now, but I'm going to walk us through it and show you exactly how a real career revolution can bring to you the authenticity, the clarity, and the transition and support that you need as you go through this journey, because AI is here to stay. AI is going to revolutionize how we work together, and I want to walk you through this journey with me. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you all. It was so great to get to know you all. And again, feel free to join. Link in bio if you'd like to join. If you've got questions, DM me. I read my DMs. If you're joining on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, thank you. It was so great to have you here. DM me if you've got questions, and please register for the webinar. The webinar is April 28th, again at 7:30 p.m. And the whole purpose is to walk you through all the phases that you might be feeling when you're stuck and help you identify how can you move forward to set yourself up for success and strategically align your expertise to the market, just like I did when I was going through the recession and having to figure out, what can I do? Where can I go? I have no idea. There's so much that's going on. I'm going to show you exactly how I did it so you too can live free. And if you want, you can retire early, but I'm going to show you exactly what I did, and I hope it will be helpful. People ask me about this all the time, and I'm finally putting it together. So look out for it. Stay in touch. Let me know if you have any questions, and thank you again so much for joining. Thanks for coming to the TED Talk that is my life. Bye.